Hey cat lovers, and welcome back to another video. Litter boxes and cat litter are relatively new in the large history book of cat domestication. Even though cats have been living alongside humans for thousands of years now, cat litter and litter boxes only became popular within the last century. Although litter is a crucial product to all cat guardians, it is often overlooked. However, its history, which is relatively unknown, is quite fascinating. That's why we thought it would be interesting to discuss the little-known history of cat litter, from the rise of litter boxes to the accidental discovery of modern-day cat litter. If you enjoy this kind of content, subscribe to the channel for more cat videos. Now let's explore cat litter. A brief history of cat domestication. Before we get into the cat litter, it's important to first understand how cats became our friends. The relationship between humans and cats has roots stretching back over 10,000 years. Across the globe, different cultures and civilizations formed a partnership with cats, almost always for agricultural reasons. Cats are excellent at catching rodents and pests, making them useful allies in farming. More than 10,000 years ago in the Mesopotamian region, or the Middle East today, cats are thought to have lived among the people. There is evidence to suggest that it was there that the cats were originally domesticated. Researchers have even been able to pinpoint the appearance of the first tabby cats in this region. From there, cats can be seen popping up in human history and culture around the world. In China, cats likely began to be domesticated around 5,000 years ago and became popular pets around 1,000 years ago during the Sung dynasty. In Egypt, cats were revered as symbolic and religious figures and likely domesticated around 4,000 years ago. In Europe, cats didn't gain popularity until significantly later, around 400 to 300 years ago. This is primarily due to association between cats and witchcraft or devil worship during the Middle Ages. However, after a few centuries, cats regained face in the public sphere, becoming popular household pets by the Enlightenment era. They were also noted for their usefulness aboard ships, as they could curb diseases by eliminating pests like mice and rats. From there, they spread to the Americas, where they continued to gain popularity for their usefulness in agriculture and their companionship. When cats moved inside. When cats became popular companions to Europeans around 300 years ago, their relationship with people looked very different than it does today. Most notably, it was not common practice for cats to live inside. It wasn't until the 1940s, less than a century ago, that cats widely made their move indoors. There are a few key inventions of the 20th century that can be attributed to this shift: refrigeration, spaying and neutering, and of course, cat litter. Refrigeration and the rise of canned cat food made it so that way cats no longer need to hunt for their food. Rather, food could be stored and provided for them inside the house. Home refrigerators became more common and accessible during the 1920s and into the 1930s. Spaying and neutering also began to rise in popularity. While the first instances of neutering on record comes from an article published in Diseases of Dogs and Cats in 1893, the practice did not gain popularity for several more decades. It became more widely accessible during the 1930s. Refrigeration and spaying and neutering laid the groundwork for cats to come inside, but there was still one big problem. Outdoor cats would go to the toilet wherever they pleased. Now that they were migrating inside, they needed somewhere to use the restroom. As such, the litter box made its appearance. The invention of the litter box. Litter boxes quickly became necessary as cats began to move indoors. After all, the last thing anyone wanted was for their cats to use the restroom in their house at random, so impromptu litter boxes became common practice. The litter box was not standardized or commercialized until later. For a while, cat guardians would use random household objects like pans or trays as litter boxes. One of the first litter boxes that could be widely purchased was called the Easy Clean Kitty Toilet. This early litter box was an enameled metal pan lined with paper, and it even came with an optional privacy screen. But even though the litter box had now been invented and commercialized, there was one big problem that remained: the smell. Even though cats could be trained to exclusively relieve themselves in the litter box instead of around the house, there was nothing containing the smell. So, to accompany the litter box, cat litter was created. Early cat litter. Before cat litter as we know it today was invented, people would often use any household materials that were available to them. Sand, dirt, sawdust, and newspapers were among the most common materials used to fill cat litter. Cat litter was necessary for two important reasons: to keep the litter in the box and to eliminate the smell. However, most of the early materials used as cat litter didn't achieve either objective very well. Sand, dirt, and sawdust would get tracked all over the house. None of the experimental materials were good at eliminating the foul smell coming from the litter box. So while these early materials were often deemed sufficient, they were not by any means effective at keeping the litter box or the house clean. The accidental invention of cat litter. The invention of cat litter as we know it today was entirely the result of an accident. Michigan businessman Edward Lowe started to experiment with granulated clay in 1947. His initial goal was to market the clay as a nesting material for chickens. During this process, his neighbor, Cage Rapper, showed by to inquire if he had any sand for her litter box. She had been using ashes from her fire, which subsequently were tracked all over the house by her cat. Instead of sand, Lowe handed Draper a bag of Fuller's Earth clay and thought nothing more of it. As the story goes, Draper soon reported to Lowe that the clay worked significantly better than any of the other materials she had used in litter boxes before. The clay was not only far more absorptive than sand or ashes, but it significantly reduced the smell coming from the litter box. Soon, Draper had spread the word about the clay to all of her cat-owning friends, who all similarly came to Lowe asking for some. Just like that, Edward Lowe had stumbled upon a goldmine of an invention, and he hadn't even intended to. Rather than marketing the granulated clay as nesting materials like he originally intended, Lowe packaged the clay as kitty litter to sell on the market. During the following decades, Edward Lowe traveled the country advertising his product to cat guardians across the nation. Edward's wife, Darlene, photographed the rise of the product from exhibits at pet conventions to demonstrations at trade shows. You can still see the photographs today at the Hagley Museum and Library in Delaware. The kitty litter was advertised in women's magazines, pet stores, and among cat breeders and humane societies around the country. The main features of the product that were advertised were its superior absorbency, deodorizing quality, and minimal amount of dust. In 1964, Edward Lowe officially founded Edward Lowe Industries, creating the first cat litter brand. Over his career, Lowe obtained 170 patents, copyrights, and trademarks, permanently etching his name and business into the history of cat litter. Cat litter today. Today, cat litter is a booming $2.9 billion industry. This is in large part due to Edward Lowe's entrepreneurial efforts to create an effective and accessible cat litter product. Following Lowe, lots of other cat litter brands began to spring up. All of them sought to create a more clean and affordable option than the last. As such, lots of different types of cat litter became available to cat guardians. In the 1980s, non-clay clumping litter was introduced. In the 1990s, silica gel crystal-based litter was invented. Today, you could find litter made from a wide variety of different ingredients, from clay and silica gel to more natural options like corn and wheat. Some options available today do more than just curb smells and keep the litter box clean. Some litters have been designed to provide insight into your cat's health. Pretty litter, for example, contains crystals that react to the pH levels in urine. The litter will turn different colors based on the urine and can therefore be used to monitor a cat's health. Along with cat litter, litter boxes have seen many advancements in the last few decades. Most advancements were intended to make the litter box smell better and require less cleaning. One of the most notable is the introduction of the self-cleaning litter box. The first self-cleaning litter box was patented in 1991 and relied on a motor-driven rake. Later, self-cleaning litter boxes, like those introduced in the late 1990s, relied on a rotating mechanism instead. The debate between raking and rotating continued for the next several decades. Today, most self-cleaning litter boxes use a combination of both. If you haven't already, check out our review video for the most popular self-cleaning litter box on the market, the Litter Robot. Cat Litter Controversies. The cat litter industry has had its fair share of controversies over the years. Recently, one of the most influential debates has been over the sustainability of cat litter. Traditional cat litter, like clay and silica-based products, is environmentally unfriendly. As we learn more and more about the long-term impacts of certain materials, the conversation around cat litter has shifted to emphasizing environmental impact. Cat litter, as invented by Edward Lowe, is considered one of the easiest and most accessible varieties. However, clay is not a renewable resource, nor is it biodegradable. The widespread production of clay litter, therefore, has negative impacts on the environment. As such, opponents of traditional cat litter are advocating for a switch to biodegradable and environmentally friendly litter options. They say a cat litter made from natural and plant-based materials, like corn or wheat litter, is significantly better for the environment. Other sustainable options include DIY cat litter or paper cat litter. However, many people argue that they do not function as well as clay does when it comes to odor reduction and cleanliness. With that said, proponents of traditional cat litter are not opposed to it primarily because of its proven effectiveness in controlling odors and its affordability. For many cat guardians, the convenience and widespread availability of clay-based products far outweigh environmental concerns. They value the reliable performance that these products provide, particularly in multi-cat households where odor control and ease of cleaning are top priorities. Additionally, the cost-effectiveness of traditional litter options can make them more appealing to budget-conscious consumers. Other cat guardians choose to take the middle-of-the-road approach. For example, while still using traditional litter, you can upgrade your litter box to be more sustainable. There are plenty of non-plastic based litter boxes that have a better environmental impact than plastic ones. Additionally, you can opt for eco-friendly litter accessories, including biodegradable litter bags and washable litter mats. Now that we've explored the history of cat litter, it's time for Cat of the Week. This video's cat of the week is Ashes. His guardian says, "This is Ashes, born October 13th, 2017 on a Friday. He loves to get into trouble a lot, is a big talker, and when he's in a cuddly mood, he sits on your face and purrs. LOL, I love my mini panther. Congratulations, Ashes, keep being pawsome. To enter your cat for a chance to be featured, visit the entry link in the description box below. So, did any of this history surprise you? Let us know in the comments below. Also, if you found this video interesting, please give it a thumbs up because it helps other cat lovers find our content. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next Catterday for another video.